Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with your new module, that is a database design concepts. That is a new topic, new module of the new semester. This is the important thing. We have covered four modules of the last semester, and now we are going to continue with the new topic, new module of the next semester, that is the database design concepts. Right. So let's start the session. Start the session with the beginning. So first of all, welcome to the Mercury Virtual, all of you, and welcome to the new module, that is the database design concepts. And this is very interesting subject, as well as very important concept from the point of view of the industry, right? So let's start with the basics of the database, or let's start with the some concepts of the database management system, right? Yeah, these are the various contents that is available in this book. So let's see what are the contents that is available in this course. This is first the introduction, that is introduction to the database, that is a database system application. What is the purpose of database system? What is the view of data? That is different types of data. Then database languages, then relational databases, database design, data storage and querying, transaction management, database architecture, that is what is the architecture of database, just introduction of the database, that is what is database, how it is used, that is the introduction of the database. Then part 1 is relational databases, that is what is a relational database, what is the difference between the relational database and the database keys, that is a schema diagram, relational query languages, what is the difference among them. Then under this, that is a relational database, there is a next chapter, that is chapter number 3, that is introduction to SQL. So there is one chapter that has no heading, that is there is no part, but in next part is, that is part 1, that is a relational database, that contains multiple chapters like introduction to the relational model, that is what is a relationship, or what is the relational model that is available in the database. Then chapter number 3, that is the introduction to the SQL, just introduction of the SQL, that is covered in your course, that is covered in your third chapter, that is the introduction to SQL. Then intermediate SQL, that is intermediate SQL means the, we can say, the joining of the SQL, that is a structured query language. Then advanced SQL, and that is advanced SQL that is used. Then formal relational query language, that is this whole chapter, that is chapter number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that covered under the part 1, that is the relational databases. Then there is a part 2, that is the database design, that is that contains multiple chapters, like there is a chapter number 7, that is a database design and the ER model, that is what is the database design and what is the ER model, that is the entity relationship model. And the next chapter is, that is available, is the relational database design. Then next chapter is application design and development. So database design covers the database design on the basis of the ER model, then relational database design, and the application design and the development. Then part 3 is data storage and querying, that is how to store the data, that is the data storage, and how to process the data, or how to query on the basis of the data storage, that is the data storage and querying. In this there is a chapter number 10, that is a storage and file structure, that is how to store the data, that is how to make the storage, and there is a or file structure, that is what is the file structure, or what is the layout of the structure of the file, that is a file structure. Then the next chapter is indexing and hashing, that is what is the index, how it is used, and how to use the hash table, that is the hashing. Then chapter number 12 is query processing, that is how to process the various queries, that is the query processing. Then query optimization, that is how to optimize the query, that is how to better utilize the query on the basis of the various relational algebra, relational model. Then part 4, that is a fourth part, that is a transaction management, that is how to maintain the, or how to manage the transaction, that is a transaction management. Then there is a under this transaction management, there is a chapter number 14, that is a transactions. There is a chapter number 15, that is a concurrency control. Then recovery system, all these covered under the transaction management, that is how to manage the transaction. Then there is a part 5, that is a system architecture. In this there is a first chapter, that is a database system architecture. Then chapter number 18, that is a parallel databases, then distributed databases. Then part 6 is data warehousing, data mining and information retrieval. That is where to store the data, how to data or how to mine the data, and what is the information retrieval. That is how to retrieve the information, that is the information retrieval. And this there is a chapter number 20, that is a data warehousing and mining. Then chapter number 21, that is the information retrieval. So in this how to warehouse, that is how to store the data, that is covers under the data warehousing and mining. Then information retrieval, that is how to retrieve the data. Then part 7 of this book is specialty databases, that is what is the special about the databases. One is the chapter is object based databases, that is same what we have covered in the object oriented. There is also a concept that is the object oriented databases, that is a special databases that is available in database management system. Then chapter number 23 is XML. Then part 8, that is the advanced topic of the database management system. The first topic is, that is chapter number 24 is advanced application development. Then chapter number 25 is spatial and temporal data and mobility. Then chapter 26 is advanced transaction processing. So these are the three chapters that is available that covers under the advanced topic of the database. Then this is the case studies. This is not in your course. Then these are the various appendices. So let's start with the first chapter. This page initially left blank. So this first is overview, then part 1 is relational databases, then database design, then data storage and querying, then transaction management, then system architecture, then data warehousing, data mining and information retrieval, then specialty databases, then advanced topics, then case studies. Then these are the various websites available, and these are the various introduction or various addition related to the, we can say, the book. Now that is the first chapter. This is the first chapter, that is the introduction to the databases. So let's start with the introduction to the database. So first chapter is your introduction, that is the introduction to the database management system, that is how the or what is the meaning of the database management system. So let's start with the introduction. So it says a database management system is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs to access those data. So in simple terms, it is a collection of interrelated data. That is, whenever we combine multiple data that are interrelated with each other, that is known as the information, or that is known as the DBMS, that is a database management system, that is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs to access those data. That is, there will be interconnection of the program, there will be interconnection of the related data, as well as a set of programs that will be able to access those programs or those data. The collection of data is known as the database. So whenever we combine multiple data, that will be stored in a database that contains various functions, various information that is relevant to an enterprise, that is important to an enterprise, that is contained in a database. The primary goal of database management system, in the short form it is DBMS, is to provide a way to store and retrieve database information that is both convenient and efficient. So one of the main target is to provide or is to store and retrieve the database information. So first of all, store the good information as well as retrieve the database information that is both convenient and efficient. That is the most convenient way and the most efficient way to store and retrieve the data. That is the main goal of the DBMS. So overview is clear. I think that is DBMS is nothing but a collection of interrelated data, and there are various tools, there are various programs that is available to access those data. And one of the main goal or one of the main target of DBMS is to provide a way to store and retrieve the database information that is both convenient and efficient. That is the convenient method and the efficient method to store and retrieve the database information. Database systems are designed to manage large bodies of information. Management of data involves both defining structure for storage of information and providing mechanism for manipulation of information. So that is a database management system. So in simple terms, managing the data, managing database, managing the interrelated data, that is known as the database management system. As the name advises, a system, a method, a procedure that manage the database, that is known as the database management system. Next, 1.1 is database system application. That is, what are the various database system applications, or in which area it is used. That is a database system application. That is, in which function area that database management is used. So databases are widely used, and some of the respective or representative areas of the database are as follows. First of all, it is used in the enterprise information. So it is used for the enterprise information. That is the first point. Now, how it is used in the database information or enterprise information? For the sales purpose. So for sales purpose, for customer, product and the purchase information, we can, or we are able to maintain the database. We are able to maintain the interrelated data that is maintained under the database, and that is we can say the managed by the database management system. And in the same way, in the enterprise information, there is a accounting. That is, it is also used, or database is also used in the accounting purpose or the accounting of the enterprise. That is, for maintaining the accounts, it is also used in the enterprise. Then human resources, that is the information about the employees, salaries, payroll, taxes, benefits and the generation of the pay slips, that is also covered under the database, or that is the information that is also stored using the database and their applications. Then manufacturing, that is also used, or for management of the supply chain and the tracking purpose, that is also used. Then online retailers, so it is also used for the online retailer that is available, or that are dealing with the merchant, that are dealing with the retailers online. Then next, the first of all, it is used with the enterprise, then it is used with the banking and finance. So first application area is the enterprise, and there are various sub areas of the or there are various sub areas of the enterprise in which the database is applicable, or the database design is applicable. Now the next area is banking and finance. So if there is any banking term, that is for dealing with the customer, therefore seeking the customer information, what is the amount payable, what is the amount receivable, and the accounts, loan, banking transactions, that is also covered under the banking. So this is all what we maintain with the help of the database management system, or the database applications. And in the same way, there is a credit card transaction that is also used. There is a finance transaction that is also used. Then there is a it is used in the universities for seeking the, or for gathering the, or for storing the student information, course registration, grades. Then airlines, then telecommunication. So it is used in various applications like airlines, reservation, telecommunication system, universities, banking, enterprises. So it is used in all these applications. As the list illustrates, database form an essential part of an enterprise today. That is, it is very essential part of an enterprise, storing not only types of information that are common to most enterprises, but also information that is specific to the category of the enterprise. So it is used in the overall, we can say, the designing of the enterprise overall areas of the business applications. The importance of database system can be judged in another way. Today, the database system vendors like Oracle are one of the among us the largest software company in the world. That is also a database company, that is the Oracle, and the database system forms an important part of the Microsoft and the IBM. So database is growing day by day in a very increasing manner, and it is used in a efficient manner to clear the all the rules and the. Then next is purpose of database system. That is, what is the main purpose of database system? Why we are using the database system? What is the main target of the database systems? So database system arose in response to the early method of computerized management of the commercial data. That is, it is arose in response to the early method, that is what we are using in the early method of the computerized system that is used typically of the 1960. Consider of an university organization that among other data keeps information about all instructors, student, department and the course offering. So they are universities dealing with the, or seeking the information related to the what are the various faculties that is used, what are the various trainers, what are the various we can say the instructors, department, what are the various courses that are offering by the database system. One way to keep the information on a computer is to store in an operating system file. That is, there is a one method to store all these files in an operating system. To allow the users to manipulate the information, the system has a number of application programs that manipulates the file, including programs to. So there are number of applications, there are number of files, there are number of manipulation methods, application program that manipulates the file. And what are the various programs that is including in this one? What are the various, we can say, the program that is involved in manipulating the information? First one is adding the new student, that is add the new student, instructors and the courses. Then register students for courses and generate class rosters. Then how to register the students for various courses and how to generate the class rosters. Then assign grades to students, compute grade point averages, that is GPA, and generate the transcript. So these are the various programs that is helped or that is used to manipulate the databases. System programmers wrote these application programs to meet the ends of the university. So there is a role of the system programmers who wrote these application programs to meet the needs of the university. But there are some limitations also that is or that is covered or that is observed under the databases. So whenever we use the databases, there are some limitations also. So one of the limitation is data redundancy and inconsistency. Now, what is the meaning of data redundancy? That is a duplication. Redundant means simply duplicate. So there are duplicate values that is used. One record will be entered, or one record may be entered in a two places or at two places. That is a data redundancy. So since different programmers create the file and application programs over a long period, the various files are likely to have different structure and the programs may be written in several programming languages. There are various programs that is written in various programming languages. Moreover, the same information may be duplicated in several places files. So the same information will be placed in a multiple files, multiple locations, so that will be a same information will be processed or may be duplicated in a several places. For example, if a student has a double major, that is same music and the mathematics, the address and the telephone number may appear in the file that consists of a student record in the music file and in the file that consists of student record of the student in the mathematical department. So if a student enroll for the music as well as the mathematics, the same record will be used in the music, the same record will be used in the mathematics. So this redundancy leads to a high storage and excess cost. So there is a high storage, that is there are so many duplicates that data that is available. So there is a huge storage as well as the cost will be high, that is the excess cost. Whenever we want to access anything, the cost is also high. That is also a various limitation, or this is also a limitation of the database design. And it may also lead to inconsistency, data inconsistency sorry, that is various copies of the same data may not longer agree or may not longer agree. For example, a changed student address must be reflected in the music department records but not elsewhere in the system. That is, at one place the data will be updated, at another place it cannot be updated. That is a data inconsistency. That is, there is no consistent data among various department of the student. So this is one of the major limitations, that is a data redundancy and the data inconsistency. Then next one is difficulty in accessing the data. That is, there is also a difficulty in accessing the data, that is how to access the data in the database applications. Suppose that one of the university clerk need to find the names of all the students who live within the particular postal code area. The clerk asks the database processing department to generate such a list. Because the designers of the original system did not anticipate this request, there is no application program on hand to meet it. There is no application program who access the data, so there is a difficulty to generate the list of all the students. So this is also the limitation of the database. That is, there are sometimes there is a difficulty in accessing the data because there are some redundant data, there is some inconsistency, so it is very difficult to access the data. in such cases. So this is also the limitation, that is difficulty in accessing the data. Then next is data isolation. That is, data isolation means the various data are scattered at various places. So this is the next limitation, that is the next we can say the disadvantage of the database, that is the difficulty in accessing the data. The next difficulty is data isolation. That is, different data are scattered at the different places. There is a data isolation, there is a data scattered among the various places. So this is because data are scattered in various files and the files may be in different formats. So one of the reason is the data are scattered in various files and the files may be in different formats. So writing new application program to retrieve the appropriate data is very difficult. So if I want to write new application program to retrieve the appropriate data, that is also very difficult. So this is also the limitation, that is the data isolation, that is for the database management system. So this is the limitation of the DBMS. Then the next limitation is integrity problems. That is, the integrity problem means we cannot integrate or we cannot combine or we cannot merge various data in a sufficient time, in a proper time, or in a various we can say the various constraint that is also available. So the data value stored in the database must satisfy certain types of consistency constraints. Suppose the university maintains an account for each department and records in the balance amount in each account. Suppose the university that takes zero developer enforce these constraints. So, however, when the new constraints are added, it is difficult to change the program to enforce them. The problem is encountered or compounded when the constraints involve several data items from the different files. So there is an integrity problem that is also, we can say, that also faces or that is also occurred in the database management system. So there is a integrity problems in the DBMS. Then next is atomicity problems. So a computer system, like any other device, is subject to failure. In many applications, it is crucial that if a failure occurs, the data may be restored to the consistent state that existed prior to the failure. For example, if a program to transfer $100 from the account, so that means there is no atomicity or there is a atomicity problem. That is, if the power failure or if there is any device that is failure, that is a any crucial that is failure occur, then the data can be restored to the consistent state that existed prior to the failure. This is also the limitation, that the if there is any fund transfer, if any transfer, so atomicity is not available in the database management system. Then concurrent access anomalies. So there are also anomalies, that is, there are concurrent accesses. I am also accessing the same database, you are also accessing the same database. That is also the limitation of the DBMS. So for the sake of overall performance of the system and faster response, many systems allows multiple users to update the data simultaneously. Indeed, today the largest internet retailers may have number of accesses per day to their data by shoppers. So in such an environment, so if I'm talking about the nowadays scenario, you are also accessing the database, I'm also accessing the database. You are also we can say the place an order for purchase, I'm also purchase an order for purchase. So there is a concurrent access. So there is an anomaly, there is a, we can say, the duplication among the various concurrent accesses. So this is also the limitation of the DBMS, that is the database management system. Then security problem, that is also the major problem, because there is a some security loophole that is available in the database. So not every user of the database system should be able to access all the data. There are some limitations, there are some we can say the boundaries, there are some passwords that are restricted, that is also a part of the security. So for example, in a university, if a I'm talking about the payroll, that is a salary calculation, that is a financial thing that is not accessible by anyone or everyone. So there is a security problem in the databases. So these are the various limitations, or we can say the disadvantages of the database. Then next is views of data. That is, what are the various views of data, or we can say what are the various different views of the data that is available or that is used for the database management system. So a database system is a collection of interrelated data and a set of programs that allows user to access and modify these data. A major purpose of a database system is to provide users with the abstract view of the data. So one of the main target is to provide user, that is a user is able to see the perfect area or the abstract area of the view of the data. That is, the system hides certain details of how the data are stored and manipulated. That is, the system has or hides certain details that how the systems or how the data are stored and maintained. That is also the main view of the database, or that is also the abstract view of the database, that is hiding the background details and providing the sufficient details. Now, what is the data abstraction, or what is the, we can say, the abstract view of the data? So for the system to be usable, it must retrieve the data efficiently. The need for efficiency has led designers to use complex data structure to represent data in the database. Since many database system users are not computer trained, the developer hide the complexity from users through various levels of abstraction to simplify the interaction among the system. Because most of the persons are not computer literate, so there are some hiding of the details, that is the data abstraction, that is also the abstract view of the data, that is only providing the efficient or sufficient detail that is used by the user, not providing the background details of the user. Now, what are the various levels of abstraction that is available? I'm just coming within 2 minutes. Yeah, for sure, Larry, I will send you the PDF of this module, but not today, but by tomorrow, right? So these are the various abstraction level, or these are the various levels of abstraction that is provided or that is covered under the database applications. Now let's see what are the various levels of abstraction. So first is the physical level. That is the lowest level of abstraction that describes how the data are actually stored. So it defines a physical level, physical layout, physical boundaries, or we can say it describes how the data will be stored in a physical manner. That is how physically it is stored. The physical level describes the complex low-level data structure in details. That is, if there is a complex low-level data structure, that is also explained in detail by the physical level. Then logical level, that is the next higher level of abstraction that describe what data type or what data are stored in the database. So physical describes how the data will be stored, logical describes what the data will be or what type of data will be stored in the database, and what type of relationship exists among the data. And this logical level is also known as the physical data independence, and the database administrators who must decide what information is to be kept in the database using the logical level of abstraction. So physical level simply describes how the data will be stored, and logical level describes what type of data will be stored. Then view level, that is a higher level of abstraction that describes only the part of the entire database. That is only part of the entire database means that is some parts are explained with the use of the view level. That is a high level of abstraction that describes only the part of the entire database, even though the logical level uses simple structure, but complexity remains because of the variety of the information that is stored in the large databases. Now, there is a figure that shows various levels of abstraction. So this is a view level. That is a different users have different views. So there is a view 1, view 2, and there are different n number of views that is available. There is a logical level, that is what type of data will be stored, and physical level, that is how the data will be stored. So first of all, there is a physical level, how the data will be stored, then logical level, what type of data will be stored, then view level, that is what the user views from the, or what the user decides, that is the entire database, that is a high level of abstraction, that is a view level. Then next is what is the instances and what are the schemas. So database changes over time as the information is inserted. So the collection of information stored in a database at a particular moment. So if I say that at this moment I will update the database with the 4 records, that means that is the information that is stored in the database at this moment, at a particular moment, that is known as the instance of the database. In the same way, if I say about the overall design of the database, that is known as the database schema. And schemas are also changed, but they are changed on an infrequent basis. That is, they are not changed on a regular basis, but they are changed. So there are two terms. One is the instances, that is the updation of database at a particular moment, that is known as the instance. In the same way, overall design of the database, that is the database schema. And schemas are changed infrequently at all. The concept of database schemas and instances can be understood by analogy to a program written in a programming languages. A database schema corresponds to the variable declaration in a program. The values of the variable in a program at a point correspond to the instance of a database schema. Database systems have several schemas that is divided into various levels of abstraction. The physical schema that describes at the physical level or that is available at the physical level. Logical schema that describes the database design at the logical level. A database may have several schema at the view level, sometimes known as the sub-schema that describes different views of the database. So this is nothing but the schemas. Now next is the database or data models, that is a collection of conceptual tools for describing data, data relationship, data semantic, and the consistency constraint. So in simple terms, data model means what type of data that is stored and what are the various conceptual models that is used, tools that is used for describing the data, data relationship, data semantic, and the consistency constraints. And there are different data models that is available. One is a relational model, then entity relationship model, then object or base data model. So this is what we are going to cover in details. That's why it is mentioned chapter number 7, chapter number 2 through 8, that is a relational. Then semi-structured data model, that is a XML, that is covered under the chapter number 23. So this is all we are covering in various chapters. And there are two more models, that is the network data model and the hierarchical data model that preceded the relational data model. So this is preceded this model, that is a relational model. These models were tied closely to the underlying implementation and complicated the task of modeling data. As a result, they are used little now except in old database code that is still in service in some places. They are outlined in appendix D and E. So there are some other data model, that is a network data model, hierarchical data model, that is not covered in detail but that are available in the appendices. Next is the database languages, and this is one of the important topics, so I'm not going to start right now, but I will continue this topic in the next class, that is the database languages. That is what are the various languages that is available in the database, or how we can communicate with each other, how the data will communicate with each other in a database that is done by the database languages. So that is the next topic, database languages, that I am going to continue in the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class. So that's all for today's session, and this is a new module, new semester module, new chapter, new concept, totally different, no programming, totally new concept. So please focus and listen carefully, and in the tomorrow's class I will definitely share the PDF to all of you. So if there is any doubt, any advice, any suggestion, any query, you can ask from me. So that's all for today's session. Thank you so much everyone. Bye bye.